An ex-AEW star announces retirement plans, plus an AEW World End match was changed due to injury, and the WWE injury curse continues as another star is out of action. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. Happy New Year. You join me on a very chilly, high-level bridge between Newcastle and Gateshead for the final news video outside of the office after Crimbo Limbo. We'll get back to normal on Monday. There's a lovely bus. Back to normal Monday as we begin 2026 proper. As for 2026, it's going to be the final year of in-ring action for former AEW star Mercedes Martinez. Now, Mercedes Martinez is still listed on AEW's active roster page, but this feels more like an admin error than anything else because she put out a statement that very much makes it clear that she's going it alone, and she's doing it for one final year. She posted on her socials, 2026, different mindset, different fire. This is my last year as an active, full-time professional wrestler. No contracts, no agents, no creative, just me. And everything I've earned over 25 damn years in this business. Wrestling gave me everything. 2025 wasn't about being showcased. It was about going back to the indies, back to the grind, back to the reason I started, and remembering exactly who the hell I am. Giving back, teaching, and helping the next generation. That part means everything. So 2026 gets me one more year of my body, my heart, and my fight. One more year of scars, sweat, pain, and pride. One more year of showing up and giving everything I've got, because that's the only way I've ever done this. The last few years flew by. I don't know what's next. All I've ever known is wrestling, grinding, and hustling. And for one more year, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I trust the universe to meet me where I'm at, like it always has. Goodbye, 2025. One last run. I am sad to see the end of Mercedes Martinez's in-ring career. I don't think we truly got everything that we could from her AEW run. I feel like there's so much left on the table with AEW there. And also, we barely saw what she was capable of in WWE when she was part of NXT. And then let's not speak on Retribution, shall we? No, we shan't. I wish her all the best. I had the pleasure of working with Mercedes Martinez a few years ago at North Wrestling here in Newcastle, just over the way. At the Walker Dome. Just a really lovely human being and a solid wrestler as well, more than everything else, and wish her all the very best. That wasn't the only retirement that we were reeling from yesterday. Madison Rayne, former Knockouts champion, former member of the Beautiful People, she announced the end of her 2 decades in pro wrestling. She officially retired after her loss alongside Deonna Purrazzo to Billy Starks and Diamante on last night's Ring of Honor on Honor Club. So backstage after that match, Rayne said that her time in ring had come to an end and she would throw herself into coaching the stars of today and tomorrow. Despite losing the match, she describes teaming with Deonna as the perfect way to end a 20-year ride. She's been with AEW since 2022, and she's worked as a wrestler / coach for all that time. I guess it's just the / coach bit now. Also, her husband Josh Matthews joined the company last year as a producer. So, and I wish her all the best. Again, watch some classic Impact and TNA stuff. Madison Rayne was somebody that really burst through, someone that you wouldn't have thought had the what it took to really stand out on a roster like TNA initially, and she did. And I'm sad that we didn't see more of her doing stuff in AEW and Ring of Honor. It's not the only departure that we're talking about today. My days, a lot of people starting the 2026 year with goodbyes. As in a lengthy post on social media, EC3 announced that his time at the National Wrestling Alliance was done. His contract expired, and he was looking back online at some of the many faces of his NWA run. He talked about his proudest moments, such as his NWA World title run and helping establish Exodus Pro as an NWA territory. EC3's been with them since 2022. Held the world title for 370 days during that time with the company, and really felt like somebody that put NWA on his back and carried them through. We got to chat for well over an hour, did EC3 and I, during that title run, and he really gave a lot to what has been an interesting time for the National Wrestling Alliance. And that's not the only departure from the NWA as well, because another mainstay is gone in Colby Carino. Fightful Select reporting that Colby is now a free agent, his NWA contract coming to an end. He's actually been out of action for a number of months due to emergency spinal surgery. So in terms of when he comes back in the ring, it's, well, obviously that long time spell on the bench, we thought maybe might be added to the end. Not going to be the case at all. But Carino has also competed on WWE a number of times. He was close to signing with the company several years ago, and Body Slam and Cassidy Haynes have both learned that AEW and WWE have inquired about his contract and his impending run as a free agent. There are negotiations for a new deal. It's unknown if the two sides are going to meet, but as it stands, Colby Carino is leaving the NWA. End of another era for the National Wrestling Alliance. It's a weird old time for the NWA. Anybody that watches Marky D's channel will know that as well. Let's talk AEW and AEW World's End. We saw a really fun 8-man tag with Jet Speed and Jurassic Express teaming up. We saw Luchasaurus taken out before the match started. He would return to chokeslam his way to victory for his team, but the way that he was taken out on the ramp by the Demand was actually to make it work for a legitimate injury that Luchasaurus had suffered. So Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp says that the injury that Luchasaurus has suffered is legitimate. He's expected to miss time in the ring as a result. We don't know the specifics of the injury or if surgery will be required. Now, Jack Perry is expected to remain on TV as a singles wrestler during that time. Gutted. Like, we've just got Jurassic Express back. I'm hoping this isn't a long layup for Luchasaurus, who again has not long properly got back in ring after some hellacious battles for his own health. And we're hoping this isn't something that's going to take him too long out of the game, because I was really enjoying the Jurassic Express return properly warming up. Over in WWE, this injury crisis seems to continue. So over the past few weeks and months, we've had Dirty Dom Mysterio, Penta, and Sheamus taken off the road with shoulder injuries. Add another one to the shoulder injury setup now, because from Fightful Select, Mia Yim, also known as Mishin, posted on Instagram that her WWE holiday tour was ending sooner rather than expected, and they've confirmed that Mishin sustained a shoulder injury in the last week of the WWE holiday tour and has been pulled from the remainder of it. Mishin has been working with Jay Cargill on the tour, and she's now going to be replaced for the remaining dates. Unsure of the severity of the injury at this moment. We wish her a full and speedy recovery, but it seems strange that this seems to be this spate of shoulder injuries at the moment. Of all the body parts that keep getting hurt, it seems to be shoulders in WWE. And whilst Mishin hadn't had any major storylines currently locked in, she's somebody that's a really great hand on that women's division roster, and somebody that I think whose energy will properly be missed. So wishing her a full and speedy recovery. Hope she's not out for too long. Hope she's back in time for the Rumble, which unfortunately Sheamus won't be, as we know. It's looking like Dirty Dom Mysterio is going to be back in time for the week of the Royal Rumble, so all being well, we won't have to forfeit any Intercontinental or AAA Mega Championships there. On the channel right now, we've taken a look at all the WWE title changes from last year. A big old breakdown of all the title switcheroos that we saw, including the ones right at the very end, which we had to retcon. To show you how the sausage is made, we recorded that video before we went on our Christmas break. So I've had to nip into the office several times to add new bits. Thanks, WWE Creative. I appreciate you. Also on the channel right now, we are looking at every WWE PLE from 2025, and we are ranking them from worst to best. They are waiting for you on the channel right now. Find out what we thought was the #1 show of the year, and of course you can always argue in the comments below. And we're back in the office from Monday. Crimbo Limbo comes to an end, but thank you very much for continuing to support us throughout 2025 as we head into a new year. I'm really excited about it. I mean, we never quite know what's coming our way, but if you want any sage advice from this weirdy beardy on the internet, my advice would be, what's the worst that could possibly happen? Why not just throw yourself into new challenges and new opportunities? Sometimes things come your way and you don't quite know why, but the universe always tells you. Like me losing the mic shield to my microphone whilst at the in-laws and having to wear a sock on the end for the past week, which has caused great fun in the comments. That's why this had to happen. Whatever happens, I'm ever so grateful that we got to spend time together during Crimbo Limbo. And
you think you know what happened Monday night? You think WWE showed you everything? Think again. Because what went down after those cameras stopped rolling, after millions of you turned off your screens, was the real story. And I'm about to expose exactly why WWE didn't want this footage going viral. Hit that like button right now if you're tired of being lied to, and smash subscribe because we're the only channel brave enough to tell you what really happened when Roman Reigns came face to face with the Usos backstage. The tribal chief wasn't supposed to be there. Jimmy and G weren't expecting him. And what transpired in those corridors after Raw went dark will change everything you thought you knew about the bloodline. But before I reveal the shocking details, drop a comment below telling me, are you Team Roman or Team Usos? Because after you hear this, your answer might completely change. Here's what WWE doesn't want trending on social media right now. The moment Raw signed off, Roman Reigns didn't leave the building. No charter flight. No private jet waiting. The tribal chief stayed behind, and according to multiple sources inside the arena, he specifically requested a closed-door meeting with Jimmy and GUSO. Security cleared an entire hallway. Production crew was told to pack up and leave. This wasn't scheduled. This wasn't planned. This was Roman making a power move when he knew the world wasn't watching. And you want to know the craziest part? The Usos didn't even know he was coming. They were in their locker room, celebrating another dominant performance, when suddenly there's a knock on the door. Not just any knock. 3 heavy pounds that echoed through the backstage area. Everyone within earshot knew exactly who that was. That's the tribal chief's calling card. That's how the head of the table announces his presence. If you're getting chills right now, hit that like button because this story is just getting started. Jimmy opened the door first. The look on his face told the entire story. Shock. Confusion. Maybe even a hint of fear. Because let's be real, after everything that's gone down between them, after the betrayals, after the battles, after the broken bonds, nobody expected Roman Reigns to show up with an olive branch. But that's exactly what happened. Roman walked into that locker room, and instead of the anger we've seen for months, instead of the ruthless tribal chief ready to destroy anyone who questions his authority, witnesses say he did something completely unexpected. He praised them. Let that sink in for a second. Roman Reigns, the man who's made enemies out of family members, who's crushed anyone who dared stand in his way, who's held the WWE Universe hostage with his iron grip on power, walked into that room and told Jimmy and GUSO that they were the best tag team in the business. Not just good. Not just talented. The best. And if you don't think that's significant, you haven't been paying attention to the last 3 years of WWE programming. Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is why you need to watch until the very end of this video. Multiple backstage personnel reported hearing Roman's exact words through the door. He allegedly said, and I'm quoting here, "Nobody does it like we do. Nobody ever will. The bloodline is eternal, and you two are proof of that." Let me repeat that. The bloodline is eternal. After months of fractures, after what seemed like an irreparable split, Roman Reigns is talking about unity again. He's talking about family again. And if you're not seeing the massive implications of this, let me spell it out for you. Roman is rebuilding. This wasn't a casual conversation. This wasn't Roman being sentimental. The tribal chief doesn't do sentiment. He does strategy. He does calculated moves designed to maintain power and dominance. And right now, with challengers circling, with the WWE landscape shifting beneath his feet, Roman knows he needs his bloodline stronger than ever. The Usos aren't just his cousins. They're his shield. They're his enforcers. They're the foundation upon which his empire was built. And without them by his side, Roman's throne looks a lot less secure. Sources inside the arena say the meeting lasted approximately 25 minutes. 25 minutes of closed doors and hushed conversations. 25 minutes where the future of WWE's most dominant faction was being renegotiated behind the scenes. And here's what's going to blow your mind: GUSO was reportedly emotional during parts of the conversation. Not angry emotional. Not confrontational. But genuinely moved by Roman's words. After everything they've been through, after all the manipulation and mind games, she was visibly affected by the tribal chief's acknowledgement. Jimmy, on the other hand, remained more guarded according to witnesses. And that makes perfect sense when you think about it. Jimmy's always been the more skeptical twin, the one who questions authority, the one who's not afraid to push back against Roman's dominance. But even Jimmy couldn't deny the sincerity in Roman's voice when he praised their work ethic, their dedication, and their loyalty to the family business. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is really about. Family. Legacy. The Anoa'i name carrying on through generations of professional wrestling excellence. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're sitting there wondering if this is just another manipulation tactic from Roman. Is he setting them up for another betrayal? Is this all part of some master plan to regain control? And honestly, those are valid questions. Roman's track record speaks for itself. He's lied before. He's betrayed before. He's done whatever it takes to stay on top, regardless of who gets hurt in the process. But here's what's different this time, and this is crucial information that changes everything. Roman needs them more than they need him right now. Think about the current WWE landscape. Think about who's rising through the ranks. Think about the threats coming from every direction. Roman Reigns might be the tribal chief, but even chiefs need warriors they can trust. The Usos have proven time and time again that they can deliver when it matters most. They've held tag team gold. They've main event premium live events. They've earned respect from fans and peers alike. Without them, Roman's bloodline is just him standing alone, trying to fight off an entire roster of hungry competitors. And this is where the story takes an even more fascinating turn. According to backstage reports, before Roman left that locker room, he made a promise to the Usos. He promised them opportunities. He promised them spotlight. He promised them that if they stood by his side, they would all reach heights that nobody in WWE history has ever achieved. That's a bold claim from a bold man. But Roman's never been one to make empty promises when it comes to business. He understands that keeping the Usos loyal means keeping them satisfied. And satisfied superstars are dangerous superstars. The meeting ended with what witnesses described as a traditional Samoan gesture of respect and unity. All three men pressed forwards together in the center of that locker room, a physical representation of bonds being reformed and strengthened. For those of you familiar with Samoan culture, you understand the significance of that moment. This wasn't just professional reconciliation. This was family coming back together. This was blood recognizing blood. And in the world of the bloodline, blood doesn't just run deep, it runs eternal. But here's the million-dollar question that everybody's asking right now: what does this mean for the future of WWE programming? How will this backstage reunion translate to what we see on our screens in the coming weeks and months? Because make no mistake, this wasn't a private moment that's going to stay private. WWE knows exactly what happened. Creative team members were briefed immediately. And you can bet your bottom dollar that Triple H and the entire production team are already figuring out how to capitalize on this renewed alliance. We could be looking at